Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how you cannot substitute oil for water. A lot of beings out here are trying to substitute oil for water. They do not mix together. And what I mean by this is we have a lot of things happening, transpiring in the spiritual realm. And for some reason, we've been taught, and some of us believe to a certain degree, that if you lose somebody important or valuable to you, that you can do these 1, 2, 3 steps, and it will be kind of like a substitute for the being or the value that you've lost, which is untrue. Where we at today in society is, let's say you've lost, like, your mom or pop or your caregiver or someone in that manner. A lot of beings will have you believing that, okay, well, you gotta focus on self. You know that they always with you. You love yourself. You do all of these things, right? It'll help you get through the process. To a degree, some of these things will assist you. It's kind of like if you broke a leg and you put ice on it. It's going to knock the swelling down, but it's not going to heal that broken bone. A lot of these things that we experience with losing the people that's close to us cannot be substituted with oil. Sometimes you just have to understand that there will be gaps and voids in your spiritual space. And with growing to this understanding, sometimes does make life a little bit challenging. But it gets you out of that rat race and that feeling of constantly trying to figure out, how do I substitute this oil for water? Which we all understand, and we see that it doesn't happen. We can take that analogy and we can correlate it with how relationships have been flowing in today's society. If you've been with somebody for 5, 10, 20 years, depending on how long you've been old enough to be in relationships. If you was in a relationship for 5 years and it was from, 17, 18 to, 24, 25, wherever your range is at, that's going to hit the same as if you've been in a relationship for 15 to 20 years, and let's say you started your relationship at 22 or 25 and you got 10 to 15 years in. When you separate from these entities in these situations, you cannot just replace it with oil the same way. See, the thing with us is we like to build substance. We put in a lot of time and energy into these people, places, and things. And society has it set up to where we feel as though, oh yeah, you could just substitute it for oil. You could just, you can replace it with something else. You can do something else in the between time that will kind of fill that hole in your ship, so the water isn't sinking in your boat and about to sink you down to the ground. You can substitute things in life. We are not saying that you cannot make substitutions. But it had me in this space of realizing, like, some days when I get frustrated, and I just want to be in my masculine energy. I just want to be a masculine male. I don't want to constantly be in a place of feeling like, oh, I shouldn't say this. Oh, I shouldn't do that. Working out does not substitute where I would like to put my energy at. And I'm an advocate of working out, working on self. Self-care goes with self-love. I don't know why people say self-care and self-love. It's the same fucking thing. I guess it just gives people more words to use. But if I'm working on self-care, then that means I love myself. But a lot of beings feel as though you don't love yourself if you don't figure out how to substitute your oil for water. I'm a being that understands that our body naturally heals itself, right? So that means that spiritually, we have that same signature to where we can naturally heal ourselves to a certain degree. But if you lose your mom, you cannot substitute another being for your mom. You can get another elder, a female or a woman, you know, who can give you reassurance, give you some guidance, or, you know, give you that nurturing aspect of that femininity that has been lost when your mom moved on to her next journey. But you cannot substitute another being for that space. That space was held for someone and something extremely valuable that's irreplaceable. We have things in our spiritual realm that are irreplaceable. But being in today's society, we feel as though we can replace everything. You can replace everyone. You can go to any location, you know? And everything is on a percentage scale, so obviously to a certain degree, you can replace people. But if you are a spiritual being having a human experience, you'll understand the value that this person had doesn't correlate to the value that the next person is bringing to the table. For a lot of us out here that's in this witchy Western society, like, it'll have you to the point to where as though you don't want to work on or work out anything with anyone, any certain place, location, entities. You aren't gonna work through anything because in our society we can substitute it. And if you actually process like on a deeper level, they substituted all our fruits that we used to get with seeds in them. They substituted for GMO fruits that no longer has seeds. It has the same taste, it has the same structure, it has the same look, but it does not give you the same fulfillment, it does not give you the same nutrients. It feels as though this whole plane has literally just been covered with like low vibration oil spills and contaminant all over the place. We at the bottom of the ocean trying to swim up. If you haven't noticed, anytime there's oil spills in the ocean, most of the oil outside of the barrels that go to the bottom, which the oil still seep to the top, most of the oil sits at the top. So that means that a lot of the animals in the ocean underneath that's deep enough, they aren't really that affected by the oil outside of the chemicals that's going down to the bottom. But for the bulk of it, most of it sits up at the top, kind of like a strainer. We have to get to a space of understanding like everything cannot be substituted. You will have to fight those interpersonal battles. You will have to fight those interpersonal thoughts. They will be repetitive, you know. We getting worked on daily. You know, they poison our air, they poison our food, they poison our water, they poison us directly. You know what I mean? And when you out here in today's society, we have to be extremely mindful of the beings that we are allowing in our space, you know, because some of them, even if they witchy, do come with some kind of value and substance that we take from it, that we do learn. So when you get a GMO'd food or product, it may not have the best nutrients for you, but you took a big lesson out of it. You realize, okay, when I eat this GMO item at this time, whatever it's putting into my body, it only lasts for about 5 to 30 minutes. And then I feel like I need more again. When I put this real substance into my body, I got about 3 to 4 hours before I need to, you know, replenish or refuel that substance and that source that I had put into my body. You are not driving around trying to figure out how to put water in your gas tank. So why are we trying to figure out how to put water into the oil? These are some of the things where it's hard to dive deep in, because once you understand the playbook, you understand each playbook has its own depths. Let's say the witchy playbook is 2,000 pages. You know, it may have 600-700 chapters. I don't know. It's just a guesstimate of a number. You know what I mean? That's pretty detailed. You got the creator's law in the playbook. It may have 2,000-3,000 pages. Then you still got all your chapters that are incorporated into that textbook or that spiritual book. You know what I mean? So everything and everyone is not replaceable. The longer you are in this battle and in this war out here in Western society, you will be shown, you will see how unhealthy it is to try to substitute oil for water. If it was easy to substitute oil for water, don't you think that we would have a more healthy society? We can look at the information in today's society, the news, around the world, everywhere, and we can clearly see that if you connected to Western society, you are a part of this unhealthy obesity concept that's been pushed out here to today's society. And if we could mix oil and water, then a lot of these beings, right? Say if the world ended right now and we all had to run somewhere. If I was part of the obesity community, I would understand that there would be no hope for me if the system shut down right now. All my eggs is in the basket of today's society, that not anything happens in shutdown. We don't have to run from animals in nature. We don't have to run from bad guys or bad girls. It becomes this whole whirlpool, you know, that you don't even have to take yourself down to once you already understand the depths of what's actually happening out here. You could look at how, so the oil would be fast food restaurants, you know, the lack of being able to cook for self, the lack of discipline, all these things that it's really not. It happens all over in the world. It don't matter if you're a part of Western society or not. I'm just using this as an example to correlate so we can put an image with the toxics and then we can put an image with the water. The water would be all the hope, all the uplifting, all the prosperity, all the joy, all of the things that you do that is a lot more fulfilling. We see people all the time try to eat fast food and work out. That's mixing oil with water. The fastest way to do it, the healthy way, is to not put any food into your body. You are in charge of what goes in your mouth. And a lot of people need to substitute and replace the word starving, because you aren't starving. Your body is using all of the nutrients you stored in your body and is now pulling from those nutrients. When we see the shows with people like excessive weight, probably like 500, 600, 700 pounds, if they stop eating, when they start going on these plans, TV shows we don't know, they might be going through surgery, but the ones in real life, we all know people in real life who have went through a dramatic, drastic change and they start feeling better. These things that happen and transpire, right? We're all in charge of it ourselves. So for me, when I wanted to put on weight, I knew that I needed to eat more and I need to work out. They go hand in hand together. The thing is, when you're eating unhealthy, you can take that unhealthy and you can flip it when you're countering it with the right portions of the rest of the recipe you need to put on the weight. But when you're losing it, it's a different recipe and blueprint that you have to take on to do that. Mixing oil with water, you know, we just ran down a lot of examples that we can utilize in today now to see that, you know, we cannot be mixing oil with water. You cannot substitute oil for water. If you ever try to put water in your car, it's not gonna run. And that's gas. So substitute oil for gas, it's not gonna work. We need the same nutrients if I run out of water, I'm gonna go around until I find some more water to substitute it for. I'm not gonna pick the closest liquid to try to substitute it, because it's not gonna do the same that it's supposed to do when you are actually taking the right elements that is needed to do what you need it to do. But these are all some little things that we got to keep in mind when we out here in the middle of this battlefield, you know what I mean? But I ain't want to run it up too long. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.